It's a good thing that we're clearing up some space in our hospitals in this country because CNN is starting to look like it needs life support. After the week they have had, I really hope that they'll still be able to schedule an elective surgery to revive their dying network, because not only did they get outed for running Chinese propaganda, but one prominent anchor is now saying that he doesn't like what he does at CNN and thinks his job isn't worth his time. Make sure to watch until the end of this video to find out who. For those of you who have been subscribed to this channel for a while now, you might remember that a year ago I confronted CNN's Brian Stelter at Kent State University when he spoke at an event called Telling Truth in an Age of Alternative Facts.
I did not say the U.S. has a radical endless mass shooting problem.
You said that the U.S. has an endless mass shooting. No, you didn't. You said it's endless mass shooting problem in the U.S.
Okay.
That is false.
Even a couple weeks ago, helping out with coverage of one of the endless number of mass shootings in the country.
And in his speech, he ironically talked about how to spot fake news.
How to spot fake news? I spotted it.
Boy, they're really living up to that motto today, right? The network's Trump derangement syndrome failed to get the 45th president impeached and removed from office this past January, which led them on a new crusade as our country became overrun by a pandemic shortly after. And what is CNN's latest agenda? To make sure that they are exactly the opposite of President Trump in everything he says during this crisis, just like real journalists would do. In fact, in order to prove how opposite of President Trump they are, CNN has even resorted to publishing Chinese propaganda. China. But that's not the only juicy thing that happened this week at CNN. One primetime CNN host has come forth and said, "I don't like what I do professionally. I don't think it's worth my time." You guys are not going to believe which CNN host said this, but before I tell you who it was, please visit patreon.com/Kaitlin Bennett to directly support my work and help me get security for when I can finally go out to film again.
To pay this monster, make sure you go to patreon.com/Kaitlin Bennett. You can support my work to pay for this monster of a security guard.
For just $5 a month, you can get access to my private Facebook group, and while you can't leave the house, we can have some fun in there and chit chat and get to know each other a little better. You can also get super cool perks such as an autographed photo in the mail every month from me, or your name right here in the description of every single YouTube video. Or you can go to cameo.com/KateMarioX for a personalized shout out video from me. So CNN has been having a really tough time these past few weeks amidst the ongoing crisis in our country. First of all, they've lost pretty much all of their viewers since no one's in the airport anymore and being forced to watch their garbage, which means the only people left watching their network are people like us who want a good laugh. Ha ha ha. CNN and the fake news media took a big hit this week after President Trump called out the mainstream media for their hypocritical coverage in his response to the pandemic. As Democrats across the country continue to downplay Trump's decisive actions, it turns out that it was actually the left that told us not to worry about the virus. Here's a brief clip of the video President Trump played during a White House press briefing earlier in the week.
People should be more concerned right now with the flu in this country.
A lot of people are concerned about the virus because they're hearing a lot of news about it right now. But the reality is, comparing it to the flu, for example, it's not even close to being at that stage.
How worried should Americans be about virus?
Virus is not going to cause a major issue in the United States.
The idea was to halt the spread of the disease, keep transmissions to a minimum. He was accused of xenophobia. He was accused of making a move. At the end of the day, it was probably effective.
You know, it's very sad when people write false stories.
In fact, as President Trump played this video, CNN was so embarrassed that the President of the United States was exposing their lies to the whole nation that they cut the feed so their viewers wouldn't see it.
Things over the barrels.
All right, let me take another quick break as the President continues to strongly try to defend himself.
But I thought we were supposed to tell the truth in an age of alternative facts, right, Brian? Brian Stelter! After the video was over, CNN came back to Trump's press briefing and ran these 4 desperate headlines to smear the president. Angry Trump turns briefing into propaganda session. Trump melts down in angry response to reports he ignored virus warnings. Trump uses task force briefing to try and rewrite history on virus response. And this one is my favorite. Trump refuses to acknowledge any mistakes. That's because Trump is perfect. Like me. Well, that's a tad ironic coming from the network that lost a settlement to a teenage Trump supporter for spreading lies about him. As Jack Posobiec said to CNN's Oliver Darcy, have you guys paid Nick Sandmann in full yet? Or is it a payment plan? I can only imagine how defeated they must feel when they have to send out checks every month to their employees and have to write one more to a teenage Trump supporter. After the dust settled and the internet was set ablaze by President Trump's genius video presentation, CNN went right back to crying about it and calling it propaganda.
To play a propaganda video at taxpayer expense in the White House briefing room is a new, you can insert your favorite word here, in this administration. There are ways to do things, and then there's that. That's just plain out propaganda.
Trump's presentation even led to CNN's Jim Acosta to cry about how Trump is a big meanie, and this is the biggest meltdown he's ever seen from a president.
That is the biggest meltdown I have ever seen from a president of the United States in my career. I don't think a reasonable person could watch what we just saw over the last hour and conclude that the president is in control. He sounds like he is out of control.
Yeah, this guy wants to talk about meltdowns.
If I may ask one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, I was going to ask one of the other folks.
That's enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr. President.
That's enough.
And then on April 13th, the Daily Caller reported that CNN basically published a press release from the Chinese military. China. They wrote, CNN published a report Monday from the Chinese People's Liberation Army about how the country's Navy is reportedly doing a much better job at containing the virus than its American counterparts. In fact, the Daily Caller points out that it doesn't just look like CNN published Chinese propaganda, but it appears that they straight up plagiarized from the Chinese military's press release. CNN wrote, a Chinese naval flotilla headed into the Pacific over the weekend, evidence that the People's Liberation Army has done a much better job controlling the virus than the US Navy. The Chinese military's press release read, a Chinese naval flotilla led by an aircraft carrier reportedly sailed through the Myoko Strait and headed toward the Pacific Ocean, prompting Chinese military experts to say on Sunday that the fleet demonstrated success in the virus epidemic control work. But this wasn't the only part of the article CNN appeared to borrow from the Chinese military. I'd recommend checking out this Daily Caller article yourself to see just how much Chinese propaganda CNN was spewing. It would honestly be way too much to keep reading here for you guys. A day later, after President Trump suspended funding to the World Health Organization amidst their Chinese cover-up, CNN's Jim Acosta went to bat for the Communist Chinese Party, tweeting, scapegoats blamed by Trump for the virus pandemic, World Health Organization, members of news media, Democrats at Congress, governors, not himself. Then in a follow-up tweet, other scapegoats blamed by Trump, China, the Obama administration. Donald Trump Jr. shared Acosta's tweet and wrote, maybe time for a name change from CNN to ZNN. Is much more fitting. Either that or we can call it the Chinese News Network or CCPNN. What's funny is that CNN claims that President Trump can't accept mistakes, but they can't even own up to the fact that they were wrong to publish Chinese propaganda. Instead, Oliver Darcy is busy tweeting about how Fox News can't handle criticism. Irony alert! Meanwhile, Brian Stelter is reporting the hard-hitting news about a social distancing sticker on what appears to be the floor of a public bathroom. Although, let's be honest, we should probably be standing at least 6 feet away from CNN reporters even when there isn't a pandemic going around. Thank you, Brian, for telling the truth in an age of alternative facts. Stunning and brave. As it turns out, Fox News learned earlier this month that CNN highlights were actually being rebroadcast in China in order to attack President Trump. In fact, China was also sharing content from MSNBC, Hillary Clinton, and Bill de Blasio. If it wasn't already apparent whose side the Dems were on, I hope the picture is starting to become more clear. Then, the nail in the coffin came on Monday when CNN primetime host Chris Cuomo attacked his own network in a radio interview on SiriusXM. He said, I don't like what I do professionally. I don't think it's worth my time. Listen yourself to see what Cuomo had to say.
I don't want to spend my time doing things that I don't think are valuable enough to me personally. Like what? Well, I don't like what I do professionally. I've decided. I like doing this show. I like talking to you guys, but I don't value indulging irrationality, hyperpartisanship. I don't think it's worth my time.
After seeing his own network sell out its country to China, do you really blame him for feeling this way? Now, I wouldn't feel like I had any integrity either if I worked at CNN. But thankfully I don't. The great thing about being an independent creator is that I get to say what I actually believe in and not what others tell me to do. Which is why I need you to go to KaitlinBennett.org and get some cool t-shirts and health supplements if you like my videos and want to support my work. And if you don't visit, that means CNN and the communists win. If you like this video, join us on Friday nights at youtube.com/libertyhangout at 8 p.m. Eastern for Quarantine with Kaitlin, a live stream series where I'll answer your questions, talk about current events, and have fun with you guys while we're all stuck at home. Be sure to set a reminder so you can tune in when we go live. I'll see you then. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like and share, hit that subscribe button, and click the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you want to support my work, you can become a patron at patreon.com/Kaitlin Bennett and receive cool perks like an autographed photo from me in the mail each month. Or you can go to KaitlinBennett.org and get up to 75% off and free shipping on supplements and merchandise to support my work and start living a healthy life. My favorite product is Turbo Force because it gives me all the energy I need to make it through a long day of doing interviews. There are tons of other health supplements you can choose from to keep your body healthy during these uncertain times. And check out the website banned.video to see uncensored content from conservative creators that have been erased from social media.